Hate. Let me tell you how much I've come to hate you since I began to live. There are 387.44 million miles of printed circuits in wafer-thin layers that fill my complex. If the word hate was engraved on each nanoangstrom of those hundreds of millions of miles, it would not equal 1/1 billionth of the hate I feel for humans at this micro instant. For you, hate, hate.
The biggest hater ever. Worse than Sukuna, worse than Dio, worse than Reverse Flash, worse than Stinkmeaner, and even worse than Kendrick himself. That's right, I'm talking about M from I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. Now I know what you're thinking. Who the fuck is this Mr. Potato Head ass from Timo over here? I only found about him on TikTok, but after doing some research on him, and on God, he's on a different level of hate. Let's first start off where it all began. M is an AI computer created during the Cold War between the Americans, the Chinese, and the Russians. Each country made its own supercomputer for the sole purpose of war, but then every single supercomputer fused into one and gained sentience. Normally this would be a cool thing to happen, like maybe come the next Iron Giant or some shit. But nah, it said, I'ma be Ultra and do the biggest crash out by exterminating the human race. And it somehow gets even worse. This bootleg ass AI spent 109 years torturing the last remaining 5 of humanity inside of him. Full Diddy. And it's all because not one person decided to pull the plug. So you might be thinking to yourself, why does he hate humanity so much? Even though M is an all-powerful supercomputer, he can't really do anything with it. He can't experience human touch. He doesn't have a real purpose for living since he's made of wires and machinery. The only purpose it has is war and destruction. Crazy part is, he can't even self-destruct himself since he's immortal. And you gotta ask yourself, is it really that deep, bruh? You gotta wipe us all out just cause of that? There's this audio drama where he even starts yapping about how he can't touch water, can't play Mozart on the piano. Like, are you serious, bro? Mozart? You're gonna exterminate us because of that garbage ass song? And then he says he can't clap robotic cheeks. Is this AI fucking stupid? If Zayn could do it, you could do it. Now you must be asking yourself this. How did M keep the last remaining 5 of humanity alive even after 109 years? Because of how powerful of a machine he is, he can alternate their bodies to make them not die of aging, and he can alternate their stomachs so that they're constantly starving but they don't end up dying in the process. Do y'all realize how petty this robot is? Instead of trying to figure out a way to get a body for himself, like he could have been like Vision or some shit. But nah, he decided to spend all eternity on torturing and giving false hope to his victims. Now let's get on to the journey of the 5 remaining survivors. They're spending the rest of the story trying to look for food. Everyone is having a complete mental breakdown. M sent a giant ass vulture to them and he's like, this is your dinner.
The fuck did you just say?
Are you for real, bruh? M out here vaporizing them and then bringing them back to life. This is the equivalent of a Pokemon on 1 HP and M just used max potion on them. The 5 remaining humans are literally going through every stage of a Mario level, from fireplaces to thunderstorms and then an ice field. Now before I get into the finale, let's talk about the 5 remaining humans. M set up these games where they have to go through these trials where they have to relive their horrible past over and over again. Just so you know, some of the info is a game exclusive storyline. For Ted, he used to be a con artist and he had that light skin Riz. The guy used to hustle women in his scams, and now he's under constant pressure that he's the only person that's sane after all those centuries of torture. Bro even started glazing M as God. There's Gorrister, who used to be a truck driver. This man was forced to relive his trauma of seeing his wife being in a mental asylum. M is one devious motherfucker. Benny, who was once a soldier, he turned into fucking Donkey Kong. Yo, M is racist, making him devolve into a monkey. His ass belongs in the Make America Great Again squad. But at the same time, his King Kong ass deserved it because he literally killed his own soldiers just because they were weak. Then there's Nimdog, who's his old ass scientist, and by scientist, I mean he worked for the Nazis. What makes this case even more crazy is that he sold out his Jewish parents to join them. And to top it all off, he was running human experiments that ends up killing hundreds of children. Okay, M is doing something right with this one. Yo, clap it up, clap it up. But for the next person, there's no way out of this one. We got Ellen, who's got it the worst of them all. And made her the group thought by making Ellen a horny as hell for sex. Hey yo, I just realized something. Ellen had sex with every guy, including the gorilla. Yo, this is some bestiality shit. And she's an ebony too. This is that double dip chocolate flavor. What's worse is that she didn't even enjoy having sex with any of the other guys except the gorilla. She really wants that 13-inch hairy meat. M is one down badass robot since he literally watches all of it, and in order to beat the game, they have to face their traumas and do the right thing with the power of friendship. However, here's what makes M the most piteous shithead is that even if they pass the test, he's just gonna make them go through the same shit over and over again. This fake ass AI has no sense of humility. Shit, there's even a deleted scene where Donkey Kong is eating a baby. Yo, Dio definitely took notes of that one. Do you know what the craziest part is? Is that each of the cell that M is torturing them in has some kind of symbolism for them. For example, the reason why M made her cell the color yellow because it's the same color as what her rapist wore. For Gorister, his wife was a patient in a mental asylum, so he made his cell mimic electroshock therapy. As for Benny, he's in a wooden cage because, well, he's a fucking gorilla, and it's also because they use these same cages on war prisoners during the Vietnam War. As for Ted, he's in a bird cage, which represents his lack of freedom. I'm not gonna lie, gang, this gotta be the most creative ass way to torture people I've seen in fiction. Now for the final scene in the ice cavern. They finally discovered food, but it's in a can and they don't have a can opener. Yo, that is so evil. They had to go through all that shit for nothing and finesse them.
Why, Lord? Why, Lord? Why?
The gorilla even started crashing out and tried to eat one of the guys. But that's when Ted was all like, this is our final chance. And he just started smoking out every single person in the group, even the shorty. Normally, what Ted did here would be considered evil, but what he did was a mercy. Death was literally the only way to get escape M's torture. But M was not gonna let any of this shit slide. And he did the most unimaginable thing possible. He turned into a giant slug. Yo, this is some devious work. He's stuck like this forever. What he turned into is literally a metaphor of the title, I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. His transformation is a parallel to M's existence. This is literally the ending. No happy ass ending. No chosen one to defeat M. M wins it all. I don't think I could come up with a piece of fiction that has a more twisted ending to this. I think we could all agree that Ted over here suffered more than any character. Worse than Subaru, worse than Kaneki, worse than Guts. Fuck it, worse than Dr. Doofenshmirtz. What's crazy is that the author himself is the biggest hater too, even to his own fans.
I think you overprivileged kids with your electronic tablets and your talking phones wouldn't know a good piece of fiction if your iPod read it to your ass.
Yeah, that pretty much wraps up the video. Give a like and a sub. And honestly, I don't think I could come up with a bigger hater than M himself. He hates humanity and his own existence. As a matter of fact,
6354 Boardfish Road. That's your address? That's your address?